Hi, this is Summer with Summer's Tips and Stitches, and in this video I wanted to talk a little bit more about the linked double crochet. So what I have that I'm going to show you is I made two items, follow the same pattern, but made one with a regular double crochet and one with a linked double crochet. I first came across the linked double crochet, as many of you regular folks may know, from a tutorial on how to make little egg cozies that look like chickens. And I was right away very excited about it. I really liked that stitch because it seemed to me right then that it gives a more solid look to crochet, where crochet has a tendency and maybe was created to be sometimes more holy with more spaces between the stitches. And so I thought, you know what? I want to make something with double crochet and then make something completely with the linked double crochet. So the first thing I'm going to show you is what I made with my double crochet. I think it was this one. Here is my baby sweater. I love making baby sweaters. I make them in this style that's called raglan. I learned that term from Jane Wynn with Scraptastic Yarns. I use Manadala Ombre, and I got this in my recent swap with Tracy, and in the colorway Tranquil. Okay, so that's the yarn I used. This is what the pattern looks like. A raglan sweater starts with a yoke. That's where you do a number of double crochets, then you do 3 in 1. You do some more double crochets, you do 3 stitches in 1, you do the whole back, 3 stitches in 1, the shoulder area, 3 stitches in 1, and then the other front panel. And then you follow that for a few rows, 7 to 9, depending on your pattern. And on your last row is when you make like this little chain to start the armpit. And then from like where this purple is down, you just keep going back and forth. You finish up your sweater, single crochet around, and then you come to the sleeve hole, and this is where you had made that little chain, and you double crochet around, and you get these sleeves. I did what's called color control for this sweater, meaning I was careful about where my color changes happened, and I wanted my sleeves to match. So I took my cake after I'd done the bulk of the sweater, and I pulled out a certain amount of yarn. I cut it in half so I could do a few rows of orange, a few rows of teal. Then I came on this side and I did a few rows of orange, a few rows of teal. So it would kind of match. Now I did leave these like little color changes if they happened on the side, because I wanted the bulk of the sweater, you know, to cross. Now, when you look at this, you see all the little holes between the double crochets. The double crochets don't touch, and we know that. That's what crochet is, right? That's the back of it. So then I took Balance, my second cake of ombre yarn that I received in my swap, and I made this exact same pattern, but I used the linked double crochet. So I did the same stitch count. I started out with the same chain. I did the same marking all the way across, but this time I did what is called the linked double crochet. And that's where instead of yarning over and going into the next stitch, you take your hook and you put it through the previous double crochet. You pull up a loop off of that and then go down into your stitch. And it makes it so they all are touching. Do you see that? No holes. I'm going to hold that up for you side by side. Do you see the difference? How these are all touching right up next to each other? Now, I thought this sweater would be quite a bit smaller because remember, I did the same exact stitch count. So I didn't compensate. And because obviously all that space is not between it. And as you can see, it is a little smaller. Not much. If I get it up here all at the top, you can see that it's like an inch shorter. Now I did the same number of rows. There's still 19 rows, but they're all touching with each other. Same thing with the sleeves. I color controlled this so that the sleeves would have pink, purple, and blue, and that it would follow the pink, purple, and blue, and then go into the green at the bottom. I would say I've tried these on my daughter's dolls, and my daughter has those realistic babies, kind of like the one Mama Llama Kayla orders. She's had them for a number of years, so they're not as beautiful. They've been played with and dressed and loved, so I don't have them here to show you in the video because they have scary hair. But this fits, I would say, closer to a 3 to 6 month size. This is the baby sweater, followed the pattern, regular double crochets. And it's a little big for the babies. Now this one, with the linked double crochet, the more solid fabric, as you can see, this is what it looks like. And then this is what this one looks like. This one is more like a newborn to 3. It makes it a size smaller. On this one, I did something a little different. Instead of using, because I have the linked double crochets, there's not that natural spacing between the double crochets, which is what usually I use for a buttonhole. So on this one, I did a single crochet, I chained 2, and I did a single crochet, and I had to create a buttonhole because I don't have that space between there for the buttons. So what I guess I'm saying is I would have, if you're going to make something with the linked double crochet that's originally a double crochet, it's obviously going to be a lot smaller. I don't know enough about math right now. I would have to sit down and look at the numbers. I think if I wanted to make this a little bigger, I would have to add maybe 2 or 3 stitches here, add 2 or 3 stitches here, add 2 or 3 in the back, in between where we do all those 3-in-1s, because that's where you get the sizing of your sweater when you're starting. But I do really like it. I do like the solid fabric. Maybe it's because I really do like knitting, and I have found that I'm not as skilled as knitting. Knitting has a more solid woven fabric, whereas double crochet obviously is holy, right? I've said that a million times now. And so I really do like this real solid look to it. It's just I have to figure out if I'm going to make a baby sweater, because typically that's the only garments I really make are baby sweaters. Or if I'm going to make maybe a shawl, I'm going to have to add extra stitches to get that the same size, because it does bring the stitches really close together and make them small. So that was my experiment. This is also a little stiffer than this one, as you can see. Like if I put them in this one folds up and this one is more flat. This is a stiffer fabric. Now, the sad news about the Kelly baby sweater. I found that on Ravelry a couple years ago. I love it. Now, Ravelry gives you that option to save it to your library. And because I'm a paper person, I printed it out. I put it in my protector sleeves, and I stick it in my big binder. Here, I'll show you guys this. I've made videos about this before. This is some artwork my son gave me. And I store all of my patterns in sleeves, in dividers. Here's one of my favorites, the Friendly Red Fox, in these binders. I have 2 very full crochet binders, one moderately full knitting one, and then I have a big stack of patterns that I need to put away. So whenever I want to make the baby sweater, the Kelly sweater, for a while I would just go up to Ravelry, print up a new one, then I can carry it around with me. I've never made that transition to being able to keep it on a device, like on my phone or a tablet or whatever, my Chromebook. And so I have plenty of copies of the Ravelry baby sweater, which was free. Now, this is where things got a little sad. Apparently, Kelly posted, because it's Kelly's baby sweater. I don't know if her name's really Kelly. I just say it is. Kelly posted the Ravelry link to put it in Ravelry. It's a free pattern, and then you would click on it and would go to her blog to print off the pattern. What I do then is, because I don't want all that advertisement and I don't want to print up a bunch of pages, I then copy and paste the pattern into a Word document or a Google Doc, and then I print it off. So I never went back to double check on whether or not Kelly's pattern was there. And a few of you wonderful yarn friends have said that her blog is gone. So that when you go to click on the link in the Ravelry to pull up Kelly's pattern, it's not there. So I have, the reason I like Kelly's, and I want to see if I have another one. I have another pattern that I used, but as you can see, this one, the buttons are centered. You see how it goes down the middle? And you see how Kelly's is off-centered? I can put a link in the description to this other baby sweater. This is the first one I used until I found Kelly's, and I really liked that over the panel, that off-centered one. I don't know why I like it. And that you can change this stitch count very easily by just on one side adding 3 stitches or 4 stitches to bring it over to the other side. And so if you too like the over the crossing the body and having the buttons on the side, you can convert this pattern because it's virtually the same. There are a few mini differences, like on Kelly's, she has you chain 5 for the armpit, and this other pattern has you chain 3. Not too big of a difference, but it's there. So there is that option. And I'll put a link in the description to this other pattern. I thought about emailing Kelly, seeing if she's responding. Like, I don't know what the thing about blogs are. Like, I don't know if you have to pay a monthly fee to keep your blog up. And that's maybe why she, you know, she's retired, if you will, or what. I don't know why the blog's gone. I don't know about blogs at all. I've done 0 blogging and I don't read blogs. So I don't know, but I thought about emailing her just in case, asking her what's the situation. Maybe she doesn't realize it's down. I also thought about asking her if she would let me do a tutorial on her baby sweater, because as you know, this is my go-to baby sweater. Now, of course, I have the printed pattern, and so I can make it forever and it'll never matter. It's always, you know, I'll always have it. But if any of you really liked Kelly's baby sweater, which is my favorite, you're not going to be able to view it on the internet. Now, if we all lived in the same town, I would just be like, here's my pattern, you can use it. You know, but obviously now that we're all connected worldwide and we're not all in the same, like, knitting circle, we're all in the same town, we're in the same crochet group across the world, I don't know how it is for me to share that pattern. I mean, I suppose I could make a copy and mail it to you. I don't know how that works. So that would be a lot of work though. If, like, even if 20 of you wanted, if 20 of you wanted that pattern, that'd be a lot to mail that out to everyone. So I'm gonna email her and see what information I can find. But otherwise, you can take one of these other baby sweater patterns and, you know, just add a couple stitches to come across the side, or leave it down the middle if you like that. And then if you want a bigger armpit hole, chain more. If you want a smaller armpit hole, don't chain more. I just always think about how difficult it is to put babies into clothing. You know, unless they're sleeping, then you're fine. But their arms are always wiggling and their feet are. And so I just like to have a little bit more space in the armpit, because you sometimes have to take their hand and, like, put it in there for them, right? Not in a mean way, but, you know, you got to guide it in there. And so I always like a little extra armpit. I just remember that, you know, if their finger gets caught in it, which is why also I liked this linked double crochet, is because I also know that in one little second, their little pinky finger can get stuck in a hole and you've got it up at the top of the armpit and the rest of their hand is down here. So anyway, all of that jibber jabber. I'll put a link in the description to a baby sweater, but it's not going to be Kelly's because Kelly's is lost for now. I'll see what I can do. It would be nice if I emailed her and she's like, sure, you can do a tutorial on it. Because as you guys know, I try to write patterns, and I do have a couple, like, in the works, and I'm having my aunt test them. But then I don't have any way to sell things electronically. So then I have to figure out how to, like, either how to use Ravelry or how to use Etsy, and I haven't any idea how to do that, and I don't really have enough to start up a full shop. So then I thought about asking my sister if I could put my patterns in her shop, But then I didn't want her to feel like she, you know, one, wanted to charge me part, because you have to pay a monthly fee for Etsy. Blah, blah, blah. Do you see all that kind of stuff? That just makes me feel like it's difficult. I suppose I could just make the patterns and see if my husband can start me a website. And then I can just put it on the website and you can just copy and paste it off there like I do everyone else's patterns. I don't know. But anyway, the whole point of that pattern rambling was that I don't do tutorials on my channel because I don't make up patterns. So it would be fun if this other gal let me do a tutorial on her sweater since she doesn't even have it out there anymore. Would be nice. Okay, so that is my video. I'm just comparing making an item with double crochet and linked double crochet and seeing the difference in these two sweaters. Aren't they cute? Sadly, the charity group that I donated for Christ Child Society in my town, they don't want to take baby sweaters anymore. They only want to take baby blankets. And so I do have a little pile of baby sweaters because they relax me to make them. And so now I got a little hoard of them right now. So we'll see what I'm going to do with those. I don't even know anybody who has a baby. Okay, well, that's all for that video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Thanks for sharing my videos. And until the next video, happy crafting. Bye.